The last Uber ride. It was 2:17 a.m. when Jake accepted what should have been his last ride of the night. The request came from a quiet street outside the city. Nothing unusual, except for one thing. The passenger never showed up on the Uber app again. Story: Jake had been driving for Uber for almost 3 years. Night shifts were usually calm. A few drunk college students, late workers heading home. But that night, something felt strange from the beginning. The pickup location was a road just outside town. No houses, no shops, just trees and a long, empty street. When Jake arrived, his headlights revealed a woman standing near the sidewalk. She was wearing a pale dress and holding her phone. She slowly opened the back door and sat down without saying a word. Jake checked his mirror. She looked normal, maybe a little pale. "Where to?" he asked. Her voice was quiet. "Just keep driving. I'll tell you when to stop." Jake thought it was strange, but some passengers were like that. So he started driving. Suspense built. After about 5 minutes, Jake noticed something strange. The navigation screen suddenly went blank. No route, no passenger name, just the empty map. Jake frowned. That had never happened before. He checked the mirror again. The woman was staring straight ahead, completely still. "Hey, I think the app glitched," Jake said. No response, just silence. Then she spoke again. "Turn left." But there was no road on the map, only forest. Jake hesitated, but slowly turned the wheel. For a moment, the road became darker and narrower. Jake's headlights barely reached the trees. Then suddenly, the woman said, "Stop here." Jake pulled over. When he turned around, the back seat was empty. The door had never opened. No sound, nothing. Twist. Jake felt a chill run through his body. He grabbed his phone and checked the Uber app. The ride was gone. No record, no passenger, just his previous trip from earlier that night. The pickup location didn't exist anymore. Ending Jake never drove that road again. But sometimes, late at night, his Uber app still receives a ride request from the same location. 2:17 a.m. every night. End line. Engagement. And Jake says he will never accept that ride again. But the request still appears. Waiting. My security camera saw someone I couldn't. At 3:12 a.m., Daniel's phone sent him a notification. His security camera had detected movement inside his living room. But Daniel was the only person in the house. Story: Daniel had recently installed a small security camera in his living room. Nothing fancy, just a normal home camera like many people use. He lived alone in a quiet suburban neighborhood. And honestly, he only bought the camera because of a few recent burglaries in the area. For the first few weeks, nothing unusual happened. Just normal recordings. The mailman. The neighbor's cat walking across the porch. Sometimes Daniel himself coming home from work. But one night, everything changed. Suspense. Build. At exactly 3:12 a.m., Daniel's phone buzzed. A notification from the camera app. Motion detected in living room. Daniel woke up instantly. He looked around his bedroom. Everything was quiet. Still half asleep, he's opened the camera app. The video showed his living room. Dark. Silent. But the motion sensor had clearly triggered. He watched the footage. At first, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the camera slowly adjusted its focus, and Daniel saw something that made his stomach drop. For a moment, a shadow moved across the wall, but there was no person in the room, no door opening, no window moving, just a long shadow sliding slowly across the floor. Daniel replayed the clip again. and again. Every time the same thing happened. The shadow moved, but nothing created it. Escalation. The next night, Daniel stayed awake. He wanted to prove it was just a camera glitch. At exactly 3:12 a.m., the notification appeared again. Motion detected. Daniel immediately opened the live camera feed. This time, he saw the shadow move again. But then something else happened. The camera slowly tilted upward, almost like someone touched it. But Daniel was still sitting in his bedroom, watching. Twist. Daniel ran into the living room. Lights on. Nothing there. But when he looked at the camera, it was facing a different direction and pointing directly at the ceiling attic door. The door was slightly open. Daniel had never opened it. Ending police later checked the attic. No one was there, no footprints, no sign anyone had entered the house. But the camera still records movement sometimes. Always at 3:12 a.m., and the shadow still appears. End engagement line. Daniel says he never watches the footage anymore, but the notifications still come every night, and the shadow is getting closer to the camera. Shared location. She shared her location, but I was already there. My girlfriend texted me, "Can you pick me up?" She shared live location. It showed she was in my apartment. I thought it glitched. I was literally sitting in my room. I called her. No answer. Location still blinking. Inside my house. Then she texted, "Why is your door open?" My heart dropped. I live alone. I slowly walked to the hallway. The front door was closed. Twist, her location moved and stopped right behind my room. Typing. I didn't turn around. Her location was still behind me. I stood frozen, too scared to move. My phone buzzed. She texted, "Why aren't you opening the door?" I replied, "I'm inside." She started typing, then stopped. Typing again. New message. "I'm outside your building." I slowly looked at her location. It was still inside my room. Twist. Another message came from her. "Then who just opened your door?" Small end. I finally turned around. My room was empty. My phone buzzed again. Location. "With you."